Hey everyone, welcome back to Golden Boy Watch List. Today we're covering the darkest, most psychologically disturbing anime that mess with your mind. If you're looking for feel-good vibes, this isn't it. Let's dive in. Starting at number 10, we have Texhnolyze, and this anime is pure nihilism in animated form. This isn't your typical dark anime with shock value. It's a slow, methodical descent into hopelessness. The show is set in a dying underground city where humanity has given up on progress, innovation, and even basic survival instincts. The atmosphere is suffocating. Every episode feels heavier than the last. Characters don't grow or overcome obstacles. They decay. The protagonist loses limbs, gains cybernetic replacements, and slowly realizes that survival in this world might be worse than death. What makes Texhnolyze disturbing isn't violence. It's the crushing weight of existential dread. There's no light at the end of the tunnel because there is no tunnel, just an abyss. The pacing is deliberately slow, forcing you to sit with the discomfort. By the end, you're not watching characters, you're watching the death of hope itself. If you want an anime that makes you question existence, Texhnolyze delivers. At number 9, we have Serial Experiments Lain, and this show will make you paranoid about technology in ways Black Mirror wishes it could. Lain is a quiet, socially awkward girl who stumbles into the Wired, a virtual network that's basically the internet on steroids. But the deeper she goes, the more her reality fractures. Identity becomes unstable, memories become unreliable, the line between the digital world and real world disappears. What makes Lain disturbing is how it presents technology as something that erases individuality. The more connected people become, the less human they are. The show explores isolation, surveillance, and the terrifying idea that your sense of self might just be data that can be rewritten. It's not horror in the traditional sense, it's existential terror. Watching Lain feels like staring into a digital void that stares back. The atmosphere is cold, detached, and deeply unsettling. This anime predicted internet culture's darkest aspects decades before they became reality. Number 8 is Perfect Blue, and this film is a masterclass in psychological horror. Directed by Satoshi Kon, Perfect Blue follows a pop idol who transitions to acting, only to be stalked by an obsessed fan. But the real horror isn't the stalker, it's the protagonist's mental breakdown. Reality and delusion blur together until you can't tell what's real anymore. Is she being hunted or is she losing her mind? The film explores identity, fame, obsession, and the cost of reinventing yourself. Every scene adds another layer of paranoia. The editing is disorienting on purpose, cutting between reality, hallucinations, and her acting roles until you're as lost as she is. Perfect Blue doesn't rely on jump scares or gore. It just slowly dismantles your sense of reality. By the end, you're questioning everything you just watched. This is psychological horror at its finest, and it will leave you deeply uncomfortable. At number 7, we have Paranoia Agent, another Satoshi Kon masterpiece that dives into collective hysteria and societal collapse. The story follows a series of attacks by a mysterious boy on rollerblades wielding a golden baseball bat. But the deeper the investigation goes, the more it becomes clear that the attacker might not even be real. Paranoia. Agent explores how people create scapegoats to escape their problems. Characters use the attacks as excuses to avoid responsibility, trauma, and guilt. The show dissects modern society's relationship with fear, media manipulation, and mass delusion. Each episode peels back another layer of psychological dysfunction until the entire city is gripped by paranoia. What makes this anime disturbing is how real it feels, the way fear spreads, the way people rationalize violence, the way society crumbles under pressure. It's all disturbingly plausible. Paranoia Agent doesn't give you answers. It gives you a mirror and forces you to look at the worst parts of human nature. Number 6 is Monster, and this anime is a 74-episode psychological thriller that will consume you. The story follows Dr. Tenma, a brilliant surgeon who saves a young boy's life, only to discover years later that the boy grew up to become a serial killer. Now, Tenma must hunt down the monster he created, while questioning whether saving a life is always the right choice. What makes Monster so disturbing is how human the villain is. Johan isn't a demon or a supernatural force. He's just a person who understands human psychology so deeply that he can manipulate anyone into destroying themselves. He doesn't kill people directly, he makes them kill each other. The show explores guilt, morality, and the terrifying idea that some people are born broken. Every episode adds weight. Every character Tenma meets has been touched by Johan's influence, and the body count keeps rising. Monster is slow burn horror that crawls under your skin and stays there. By the end, you're left questioning whether good and evil or even real concepts. Coming in at number 5, we have Neon Genesis Evangelion. And yes, this mecha anime is genuinely one of the darkest psychological experiences in anime. On the surface, it's about teenagers piloting giant robots to fight alien threats. But the real story is about trauma, depression, and the collapse of the human psyche. The protagonist, Shinji, is a deeply broken kid forced to pilot a weapon he never asked for, surrounded by adults who use him as a tool. Every character is damaged, every relationship is toxic. The show explores abandonment, existential dread, and the terror of human connection. As the series progresses, it abandons traditional storytelling and dives straight into the characters' fractured minds. The final episodes are experimental, abstract, and deeply unsettling. Evangelion doesn't give you closure, it gives you a breakdown. It's not just dark, it's emotionally devastating. This anime will make you feel things you didn't know anime could make you feel. At number 4, we have Welcome to the NHK, and this anime is disturbingly real. It follows Satu, a college dropout who's been a shut-in for years, convinced that a conspiracy is controlling his life. The show explores social anxiety, depression, paranoia, and the slow decay of giving up on life. What makes Welcome to the NHK so dark is how relatable it is. Satu isn't fighting monsters or solving mysteries. He's just trying to survive his own mind. The anime explores isolation, failed dreams, toxic relationships, and the crushing weight of modern society. It shows how easy it is to fall into despair and how hard it is to climb out. There are moments of dark humor, but underneath it all is genuine suffering. The show doesn't romanticize mental illness, it shows it raw and unfiltered. Watching Satu spiral is uncomfortable because it feels real. This anime holds up a mirror to anyone who's ever felt like giving up, and it doesn't look away. Number 3 is Shinsekai Yori, and this anime is a slow-burn dystopia that reveals its horror piece by piece. The story is set in a utopian society with psychic powers, but as the protagonist grows up, she discovers the dark truth beneath the surface. Children who don't develop powers correctly are quietly eliminated. History has been rewritten. The entire society is built on control, fear, and genetic manipulation. What makes Shinsekai Yori disturbing is how calm it all is. There's no evil villain, just a system designed to maintain order at any cost. The show explores what happens when survival requires sacrificing humanity. It asks whether a peaceful society built on lies and death is worth preserving. The atmosphere is eerie, the revelations are horrifying, and by the end, you're left questioning whether humans deserve to survive at all. This anime doesn't shock you with violence, it horrifies you with implications. At number 2, we have Oyasumi Punpun, and while this is technically a manga, it's one of the darkest stories ever told. Punpun is a coming-of-age story about a boy represented as a bird-like doodle living in a realistic world, but don't let the art style fool you. This story is brutal. Punpun grows up in a broken home, surrounded by broken people, and slowly becomes broken himself. The story explores abuse, depression, obsession, and the slow death of innocence. What makes Punpun so disturbing is how real it feels. There's no fantasy escape, no redemption arc, just the harsh reality of a life that never gets better. Characters don't overcome their trauma, they're consumed by it. The story is relentless in its bleakness, and by the end, you're left emotionally exhausted. Punpun is proof that darkness doesn't need supernatural elements. Sometimes the scariest thing is just life itself. And finally, at number 1, we have Aku no Hana, an anime so psychologically disturbing it makes you feel dirty just watching it. The story follows a middle school boy who steals his crush's gym clothes on impulse, only to be blackmailed by a disturbed classmate who witnessed the act. What follows is a slow descent into psychological torture, manipulation, and self-destruction. The anime uses rotoscoped animation, giving it a creepy uncanny valley effect that makes every scene uncomfortable. The protagonist is forced to participate in increasingly degrading acts, all while his mental state crumbles. What makes Aku no Hana so disturbing is how intimate and suffocating it feels. There's no escape, no redemption, just two broken people destroying each other. The atmosphere is oppressive, the relationships are toxic, and the entire experience feels like watching someone drown in their own shame and guilt. This anime doesn't need violence or gore, it just needs to make you feel deeply, deeply uncomfortable. And it succeeds. And that's the list. 10 anime that will mess with your head in ways you didn't know were possible. These aren't your typical dark anime with shock value. These are psychological nightmares that crawl under your skin and stay there. Drop a comment and let me know which one disturbed you the most, or if there's something even darker I missed. And if you're not subscribed to Golden Boy Watchlist yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more anime deep dives, recommendations, and lists like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. This is Golden Boy Watchlist, signing off.